and welcome to the second Sunday of Lent. Today's three readings are very important. It gives the importance of sacrifice, transformation, and transfiguration. The first reading is from the book of Genesis. God decides to tempt Abraham. We know that Abraham was chosen and he was called and he went along with God's words. He moved from his ancestral place and he was told that he will be the father of generations. A father who will have the children just like the sands of the seashore and the stars of the sky. And that God is asking him to sacrifice his only son Isaac. Abraham never doubted, took his son and moved forward, went to the mountain, tied him on the altar and ready to sacrifice him. Then the Lord's word came to him, stop. These experiences were elaborated by a great Danish philosopher, Kierkegaard, and he, in his book, Fear and Trembling, writing about the faith of Abraham, Abraham was leaping into the darkness. Never doubted when God said that he will be the father of nations. Never doubted when he was asked to sacrifice his only son. He gave in to the word of God. He believed. That is the depth of belief. The second reading we also hear about Saint Paul, chapter 8 of Romans. Paul is asking, who can separate us from Christ? Nakedness, death, poverty, hunger, nothing. His association with Christ was so deep, he gave himself to Christ. His consciousness was transformed into the consciousness of Christ. And in the Gospel, we hear about how Peter, James, and John was taken by Jesus to Mount Tabor, where they are witnessing the transfiguration of Christ. Elijah and Moses representing the prophecy and the law. This also we could see that how in the philosophical words of Hegel, that is thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Elijah, the prophecy, the flowing of God's words. Law, the rigidity of life with regulations. And love, transcending these two into the love of Christ. We see in all this the importance of sacrifice, self-giving, selflessness. And that is the reason why Abraham was called to be a blessing to the nations, because he believed in the words of God. Paul, he believed in the words of Christ, and Jesus, he believed and he acted upon the will of the Father, and he instructed his disciples not to tell this until he resurrected. and it shows the resurrection is always based on sacrifice, self-giving, kenosis. This is exactly what the Lent is telling us. Believe in the word of God, sacrifice yourself, totally surrender to God, give yourself to God. That will give you a blessing. You will become a blessing to the generations. It will transform you. You will be transfigured and you will be resurrected. My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, the second Sunday of Lent is calling us to sacrifice in order to be a blessing. To sacrifice in order to become a transformation. To become a kenosis so that you can become resurrection. Be a blessing. Be a transformation. Be a transfiguration. Become the resurrection. Believe in the Christ and He will lead us to transformation, transfiguration and resurrection. Thank you.